This video isn't for everyone. In fact, most people will ignore it and keep living exactly as they always have, in a rush, in fear, and with a quiet feeling that something is missing. Do you feel like you're doing everything right, but something invisible keeps pulling you back? As if a subtle yet constant force is pushing away everything you want most? Then stop, breathe, and pay close attention to what's about to be revealed. Maybe you've been repelling prosperity, and you don't even realize it. Write in the comments, "I am a magnet for prosperity." And if this message makes sense to you, subscribe now, because what comes next will unlock doors you didn't even know existed. You might be pushing wealth away without noticing. It may have already passed you by, maybe yesterday, maybe last month. An invitation ignored, an idea you dismissed, a person you didn't listen to. Most people go through life trying to attract prosperity, but few realize that the biggest mistake is repelling what was already on its way. And do you know the most common pattern? Subtle self-sabotage. Thoughts like, "This isn't for me," or that familiar comfort disguised as, "I'll try again later." These phrases seem harmless, but they carry a precise vibration, and it acts like an invisible repellent. Because the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you vibrate. And if your vibration is fear, scarcity, or doubt, the response will match. Always. Now take a moment and think. How many times have you turned down wealth, thinking you were just being realistic? There is a word. It's not new. In fact, it's far too ancient to be accurately translated. It was spoken in caves, whispered by monks, and lost in pages of scrolls long turned to dust. It's not magic, it's a frequency. And those who repeat it begin to see small cracks in reality, as if matter starts to respond differently, as if something finally says, "Now you're ready." This word comes from Aramaic, a language that carries vibration more than meaning. And today, it will be revealed to you. But first, an invitation. Comment gratitude now. It's not a trick for engagement. It's a symbolic gesture. Your way of opening energetic space for this to reach you. And if you feel this knowledge is resonating, like, share, and subscribe. Because everything that's coming next, you'll want to revisit more than once. Just imagine for a moment that the words you use every day aren't just sounds. They're vibrational commands. Some uplift, others weaken. But there's a group of words, very specific ones, that weren't created by modern cultures nor adapted for convenience. They were received, channeled, preserved in silence, passed from mouth to ear, guarded as if they were living portals. And among these words there is one that was spoken in moments when reality seemed impossible to change, moments of despair, silence, healing. It comes from Aramaic, a language no longer heard on the streets, but one that still vibrates in the invisible places of time. Aramaic wasn't used to talk about things. It was used to talk to things, to the essence, to the vibration behind matter. You're not listening to an ordinary story. What's happening now as you listen is a kind of subtle alignment. Your mind begins to open slowly, like a window you didn't even know was closed. And maybe you're already feeling it, a lightness, a pause in the mental noise, as if your body turned down the volume just to listen more clearly. This is real. It's not the effect of my voice, it's the effect of remembering, because something inside you recognizes, and that recognition doesn't come from now. It comes from before. You've heard this language before, maybe in dreams, maybe in moments when time felt suspended, or in the deep silences that come before a major decision. Ancient cultures knew this. They knew that certain sounds don't need to be translated. They simply touch. They awaken something that had been asleep. Aramaic is one of those keys, but not just any key. It is the key of presence. Have you noticed that when you are truly present, things start to flow? Money comes more easily. Conversations go deeper. Opportunities show up effortlessly. That's because presence is alignment. And Aramaic, when spoken with intention, doesn't just communicate. It tunes your frequency to universal abundance. Maybe you're wondering, but how can a single word have so much power? And here's where the most overlooked truth of our modern logic comes in. Vibrational symbolism. While most modern languages were built to name objects and describe facts, Aramaic was built to conduct energy. Each letter, each syllable, is a vector. And when spoken with emotional intention, that vector vibrates, not only within the speaker, but into the surrounding field. Have you ever been somewhere and felt an unexplainable energy, or met someone whose presence was so strong it changed the entire environment? Ancient words, spoken with truth, do the same. They shift space. They align reality. And that's why the word you're about to discover isn't a technique. It's a memory, a vibrational reminder that you are not separate from what you desire. Everything you're seeking is already seeking you, but it can only find you when you're vibrating at the same frequency. This word, dash, hidden for centuries, preserved by the few, is about to be revealed. And when you hear it, something inside you will shift. You might not be able to explain it. you might just close your eyes and feel. And if that happens, allow it. Because it's the sign that your field has finally recognized you are ready. Every word is a sound, but not every sound is the same. Some pass, others stay. Have you ever noticed how certain words stick in your mind and others just vanish? It's because sound, even though it's invisible, is vibration. And vibration has form. It travels, touches, shapes. You may have never seen it, but you've felt it. When someone yells at you, your body reacts. When someone says, "I love you" with truth, your body reacts too. It's not about the content. It's about the frequency. And this is where everything changes. The word you're about to learn, this word in Aramaic, wasn't created to communicate. It was shaped to resonate. It vibrates at a specific frequency, tuned to what many call the field of abundance. Yes, there is a vibration where money, opportunities, the right connections flow more easily. And that vibration isn't logical. It's sensory. It's energetic. You can think of it like a radio station. If you're tuned to the wrong frequency, everything you want is already out there broadcasting, but you don't hear it. You don't feel it. You don't receive it. Now, imagine your mind as a body of water. Every word you speak is a stone you throw. Some create short ripples, others gentle waves. But there are words, rare, almost extinct, that create long, deep, continuous waves. These waves pass through your field. They make contact with everything around you. They shift your baseline frequency. And what happens next is simply consequence. Because when your field vibrates differently, the world responds differently. You start attracting what once felt far away. Doors open effortlessly. The right people show up. The ideas you had now make sense. But be mindful. This isn't about magic. It's not about blind faith. It's about vibrational realignment. About returning to the place you were never meant to leave. Your center. That's the power of the word. Not because of what it says, but because of where it places you. And if you've made it this far, something important is already happening. The word by itself does nothing. It is the seed. But the soil is you. That's why intention matters more than repetition. It's not about how many times you say it. It's about how you feel while saying it. Have you ever said, "I'm fine," when everything inside was falling apart? That's the proof. The real vibration isn't in the phrase. It's in the emotion you carry with it. The universe doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to the coherence between what you think, feel, and vibrate. And here lies the blind spot for most people. You can repeat the sacred word 1,000 times. But if inside you there is doubt, urgency, or despair, the vibration fragments and nothing happens. That's why, before you speak the word, you need to align with it. And how do you do that? By feeling what it represents. Before you speak, you need to imagine, and more than imagine, embody. What does real abundance feel like? Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Now feel what it would be like to wake up knowing everything is flowing. To look at your phone and see messages filled with opportunity. To feel peace in your chest, lightness in your mind, confidence in your steps. That feeling, that internal state, is the fuel for the word. Emotion gives life to vibration. The word then becomes direction. But the one who moves the energy is you. And the more sincere your intention, the clearer the response from reality. Think of it this way. You are creating a circuit. Intention is the beginning. The word is the medium. Reality is the outcome. If the intention is weak, the circuit doesn't complete. But when you vibrate with clarity, when you feel before you ask, the circuit lights up and the flow begins. Close your eyes if you can. If not, just slow down. Breathe deeper, more gently. Now, imagine your life with everything in its place. You wake up and the air feels light. Nothing weighs on you. Nothing's missing. You rise calmly and the world feels different. Bills? They're paid. Time? It's on your side. People? They seek you for the right reasons. And you are at peace. Feel that in your body. What is it like to walk around with that lightness? What shifts in your face, in your gaze? How does the world treat you when you vibrate like that? That's the frequency. It's not out there. It starts within. Now, with that emotion alive and vibrating inside you, remember, the word will be the channel. But what you're feeling now is what will give it power. Don't lose it. Hold it. Keep it. Breathe once more. You're about to activate something ancient, and your mind is already prepared. The mind learns through repetition. The heart opens through repetition. Reality bends through repetition. This word you're about to receive isn't meant to be spoken once and forgotten. It needs to be nurtured, like someone sharpening a spiritual key until it turns. Every time you speak it with intention, you dig a little deeper within yourself. You carve a new path, a fresh memory, a new neural pathway that didn't exist before. At first, it may feel subtle, but like any sacred instrument, the more you play it, the more it responds. Repetition turns the word into a pulse. It starts to vibrate on its own, inside you. Sometimes, without you even realizing, it's already echoing within. Silent, steady, connected. And in that moment, when it becomes part of your inner rhythm, reality begins to respond like a mirror. Remember, you don't repeat it to convince the universe. You repeat it to remind yourself of who you truly are. Before you speak the word, prepare the place where it will vibrate. I'm not talking about candles or incense. I'm talking about something deeper, your internal state. Create a space. It can be a corner of your home or just a minute in your day. But let that space have a purpose, to receive what you say you desire. The universe hears more clearly when you speak with intention. Close the mental tabs. Turn off the noise. Breathe. Let your body be still. Let time slow down, and in that silence, notice. Your mind begins to expand. You feel more. You think less. The energy shifts. This is preparation, not physical, vibrational. The word that will soon be revealed needs this. It works best in fertile ground. And that ground is you. Create your small, invisible altar. It could be your pillow, your breath, your reflection in the mirror. It's in that space where quiet magic happens. When you align body, mind, and intention in a single gesture, you open portals that have been closed for a long time. And at this point in the journey, you can already feel it. Something is beginning to move. Now, if this practice is already making sense to you, leave a comment below. I am ready. This isn't just a phrase, it's an energetic seal, a point of no return, because once you declare yourself ready, you can no longer pretend you don't know. The word is Nazara. Repeat it mentally. Let it vibrate within you. Nazara. Don't rush. Feel the texture of the sound. Nazara. This word doesn't mean money, nor wealth in the conventional sense. It means peace, but not the kind of peace that comes from outer silence. Nazara represents an inner harmony so deep that the outer world begins to align as a consequence. When you vibrate Nazara, you're not asking, you're recognizing, accepting, remembering that your natural state is flow. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It's alignment with the right movement, with the right timing, with the reality where things move without resistance. Nazara is the sound of acceptance, of release, of I trust. And that's exactly why it opens doors. Because where there is resistance, the flow gets blocked. But where there is Nazara, life flows gently, like water over ancient stone. It's not just a word, it's an activation code. It carries layers, centuries of energy, intention that survived the extinction of languages, cultures, and empires, and yet it still lives because it continues to be used by those who know. And now you know, Nazara. Use it as a seed, as a shield, as a reminder. Say it in a soft voice. Say it while looking into your own eyes in the mirror. Say it with the emotion you feel when you imagine your life finally in balance, with peace, clarity, and yes, with abundance flowing as part of it. Nazara is not a wish. It's the vibrational response of someone who has already understood that everything is available when you are ready to receive. Now that you've received the code, the question is, how can you use Nazara consciously? There are 3 practices, simple but deep. Done with intention, they become portals. 1. Conscious verbal repetition. Choose a time in your day. It could be when you wake up or right before bed. Sit in silence, breathe, and repeat, Nazara, Nazara, Nazara. But repeat it with feeling. Visualize the word opening space within you, each repetition like a bell echoing inside. There's no right number, there's the right state. 2. The pillow technique. Before going to sleep, write the word on a piece of paper. Simple as that. Nazara. Place it under your pillow. As you lie down, repeat it mentally. Let the word's vibration flow through your sleep. Your subconscious will keep working, even while you rest. This practice creates connection during the brain's most receptive state, and your dreams may start to shift. You'll notice. 3rd, name visualization. Sit down, close your eyes, and imagine the word Nazara written in light. See it slowly spinning in space, spinning around you, spinning within you. Now, visualize a moment in your life flowing, money coming in, doors opening, but with ease, without anxiety. Nazara is peace, remember? You can choose to do one or all 3. What matters most is doing it with presence. And now, a personal invitation, a commitment to yourself. 21 days. Yes, a silent challenge, just for you. For 21 days, you'll repeat the word. Every day, you'll observe your mind, your body, your reactions, and write it down. Keep a small notebook. Call it your Nazara journal. Not because you need to prove anything to anyone, but because you'll want to remember how it all began. Because after 21 days, your vibration will no longer be the same. Nazara isn't about attracting money. It's about becoming the person money is looking for. Do you understand the difference? Many people spend their whole lives trying to manifest, but they stay the same. with the same fears, the same blocks, the same energy. Nothing changes because they don't change. But when you start vibrating differently, the world responds with a different kind of reality. It's not coincidence. It's vibrational coherence. And this is where Nazara comes in, not as magic, but as a mirror. It doesn't create abundance. It reveals the abundance that was already there, but that you weren't yet able to hold within. Maybe now you understand why so many people get something and quickly lose it. They weren't ready to keep it because their identity was still rooted in lack. Nazara works in the invisible, but its effects are very real. You'll start to notice small shifts, the way you respond to situations, the kind of thoughts that begin to arise, the opportunities that show up and seem to recognize you. And this is where the new self is born. The self that knows, that doesn't beg, doesn't doubt, doesn't chase. The self that holds. This is the true transformation process. When vibration stops being an effort and becomes your nature. And if right now you're thinking, but is this really real? Could it work for me? Look around. Every day people are changing their patterns, rewriting internal narratives, vibrating differently, and experiencing different realities. You might not see them, but they exist. People who stopped repeating phrases of scarcity, who started speaking with presence, who connected with the frequency of quiet abundance. And do you know what they all had in common? They decided. They didn't wait to feel confident. They created confidence through action. Nazara isn't about hoping it works. It works because you are vibrating the decision that it does. And when that happens, your identity changes. You stop being someone who seeks abundance and become someone who lives in abundance. You heard, you felt, you vibrated. Now there's only one choice left: to continue as before, or continue as someone who already knows. Because after 21 days of using Nazara, it won't just be your vibration that changes. It'll be your reflection, life's responses, the coincidences that no longer feel random and begin to have a clear destination. You. Maybe abundance won't show up the way you imagined. Maybe it will come in the form of lightness, of an idea that changes everything, of a person who brings the answer, of a detail that opens doors. But one thing is certain: when you vibrate differently, life can no longer ignore you. So do what needs to be done. Not for the video, not for me, for you. If this touched you in any way, comment below. What's the most unexpected thing you've ever manifested? Your answer could open the field for someone else. And if you feel that this video was more than just content, if it was a sign, then subscribe, like, share. This isn't just about techniques. It's about remembering who you are and what becomes available when you vibrate with truth. Nazara.